Previously on Dragon Ball Shinken, as they arrive in the alternate version of planet Vegeta, old Goku and God Vegeta face the planet's most powerful warriors, such as Bardock, the chief general of the Saiyan army, and also Kakarot and King Vegeta IV. After defeating the mightiest mortal warriors, Goku and Vegeta meet the planet's god Yamoshi, who also challenges them to a battle. After an electrifying battle against Goku, Yamoshi confirms that they are not evil people, which puts him at ease. On the other hand, he despairs when Broly, the insane Saiyan who was imprisoned in his castle, breaks free due to the consequences of his fight against Goku. Even Beerus, who was on his way to the planet for a rematch against Goku and Vegeta, is impressed when he senses the incredible power of the legendary Super Saiyan. Now that Broly is free, he unleashes a deadly attack against them and against planet Vegeta. How will this insane monster be stopped, and what will Beerus, who is en route to the planet, do when he arrives there? Find out now. Hakai. Episode 5. The Beastly Warrior is released. The monstrous power of the Saiyan Beast. Broly creates a massive sphere of power and hurls it towards them, an attack with enough power to destroy the entire planet. Yamoshi, Kakarot, and King Vegeta react immediately, with Yamoshi transforming into Super Saiyan Blue and the other two transforming into Super Saiyan 3. They all launch an energy attack against the power spear launched by Broly. When the energy from the three clashes with the energy of the legendary Super Saiyan, a massive explosion occurs in the sky. They immediately realize that even though it didn't hit the planet, it would still destroy it. God Vegeta quickly uses his power to create an energy shield to contain the explosion. While the explosion is contained by Vegeta's shield, Goku, who is beside him, points his hand and teleports the spear away, stating that he sent it to the region of the universe where there were no living beings. Yamoshi thanks the two of them as they've just saved the planet. King Vegeta becomes furious at almost having his planet destroyed and charges towards Broly with bloodlust. He is immediately followed by Kakarot, who doesn't want to let him face this monster alone. Yamoshi tries to tell him not to go, but it's too late. King Vegeta reaches Broly, delivering a punch with all his strength to his face, but he is completely shocked when he hurts his hand instead of Broly's face. Broly smirks and says that it looks like only his hair grew, not his power. He retaliates by slapping Vegeta across the face, sending him flying into Kakarot, who was right behind him. After Kakarot catches Vegeta, the king feels humiliated and furious. He attacks again, this time with an energy attack, which Kakarot complements by releasing his own power too. The combined energies form a massive wave of power that completely engulfs Broly's body. However, the larger Saiyan remains in the same spot, as if the attack had no effect. Afterwards, he advances against the two, grabbing each of them by the throat with one hand and carrying them from the sky to the ground, burying them into the rock while strangling them. While the king and his bodyguard struggle, suffocating in his grip, Broly laughs, saying he will crush their necks just like one crushes a cockroach. But then he releases them at the same time. Yamoshi arrives, delivering a flying kick to his face that sends him backward. After being pushed back by Yamoshi's kick in the Super Saiyan Blue, Broly notices blood dripping from his nose, but he licks his own blood while cynically praising "your divinity" for the kick. Yamoshi says there's much more where that came from and suggests that Broly stops and accepts being imprisoned again. Broly says that will never happen, and he lunges as fast as a bullet in a low flight towards the Saiyan god in attempt to strike. Just as Yamoshi evades from below and counters by landing an upward strike that sends Broly soaring into the air. After launching Broly into the air, Yamoshi points his hands towards him and unleashes a powerful wave of power, which generates a mighty explosion upon hitting Broly. After enduring this attack, the legendary Super Saiyan displays some wounds, but far fewer than Yamoshi expected. With a sadistic grin, Broly seems to relish the pain and the challenge. He wipes the blood that dripped from his mouth with the back of his hand, locking eyes with Yamoshi intensely. His eyes glow in fierce green as he unleashes his power even more intensely, causing the green Super Saiyan aura to envelop him like a turbulent storm. Yamoshi readies himself for the next assault, fully aware that his adversary is not to be underestimated. Kakarot and King Vegeta are still recovering from the brief yet powerful strangulation they suffered from Broly. They have reverted to their base forms since they realize that not even as Super Saiyan 3s could they pose any challenge to the enemy. Goku and Vegeta approach their defeated counterparts, extremely curious about the story behind this Broly, who is clearly very different from their reality's version. King Vegeta explains that decades ago, a Saiyan baby was born with an extremely high latent power. The latent power of the child was so high that it surpassed even King Vegeta III's base power, his father's. Naturally, the birth of a Saiyan with such power greatly concerned the king, as it was something completely abnormal. King Vegeta wanted to send this baby to an unknown planet to die there, but a god came to his castle and said he wanted to take the child. While this conversation unfolds, the battle between Yamoshi and Broly continues, leaving evidence in the form of multiple impact waves spreading across the sky. and tremors reverberating throughout the planet due to the intense exchange of extremely fast and powerful blows. At one moment, they are exchanging blows close to the ground when suddenly Broly disappears from Yamoshi's sight in the blink of an eye, reappearing in the distance with incredible speed. His figure dissolves into a green blur as he zooms with incredible speed in a low flight, like an unstoppable force of nature. Yamoshi reacts swiftly, moving aside and narrowly avoiding Broly's devastating strike, which passes him like a true flying bull, leaving a massive trail of destruction on the ground due to the impact of his low flight. Broly skids across the ground, slowing his speed as he readies for another attack. His tense muscles reveal his readiness to strike again. Yamoshi is also prepared, his brilliant blue aura pulsing with power. The two launch themselves at each other, blow after blow, creating energy waves that traverse the battlefield like lightning. Each clash of their fists and feet is accompanied by deafening booms. Yamoshi employs agility and technique, dodging Broly's brutal assaults and countering with surgical precision. But Broly is not just brute strength, he embodies wildness in his fight, making every move unpredictable. After an intense exchange of blows, Yamoshi finds an opening. He spins in the air and delivers a powerful kick to Broly's chest, sending him flying backward. Broly crashes heavily to the ground, a cloud of dust rising around him. Yet he quickly recovers, rising with an almost maniacal laugh. Watching this battle, Goku and Vegeta realize that Broly's power is rapidly escalating, and if this continues, Yamoshi will be defeated. Kakarot and King Vegeta are greatly surprised by this. They say they knew of Broly's existence, as Bardock and King Vegeta III told them the story of the baby with extraordinary power, but they never imagined the child's power was this high. Yamoshi maintains his posture, vigilant and focused, while Broly gazes at him with his green aura intensifying even further, enveloping him like a voracious flame. Emitting a powerful roar, Broly charges once again, his speed and power pushed to new heights. Instead of moving, Yamoshi waits for the approaching adversary with a calm demeanor. Then when Broly is close enough, he joins his hands and then separates them, releasing a layer of power that simply paralyzes the legendary Saiyan. Witnessing this, Goku is greatly surprised, as coincidentally he used a very similar ability against Broly in their fight on Earth. With Broly immobilized by his technique, Yamoshi states that it's better to end this before things become too problematic. He moves to the back of Broly, preparing an attack that would hit the legendary Saiyan's neck. An attack that, according to Yamoshi, would calm his ki and put him to sleep. But then his hand is grabbed. To the shock of the Saiyan god, Broly moved and caught his hand. Yamoshi asks how he did that, and with a sneering smile, Broly informs the Elder Saiyan that all he needed to do was to increase his power. Just that. With a grip, Broly crushes Yamoshi's hand and then pierces through his abdomen and back with his arm. As Broly withdraws his arm from his body, Yamoshi falls to his knees, reverting from his transformation. Raising his arm for a final blow on the kneeling Saiyan, Broly comments that it's simply ridiculous to see the one who proclaims himself a god like this. But before the deadly strike reaches Yamoshi, a flying kick hits Broly's face, sending him flying far away until he collides with a boulder. The author of this attack is God Vegeta, who informs Yamoshi that from now on he'll take over this fight. Old Goku tries to object, but Vegeta argues that he faced Yamoshi, so obviously it's his turn now. Faced with this argument, Goku has no response. Vegeta steps forward a bit, getting closer to Broly and distancing himself from the others. Meanwhile, Goku, Kakarot, and King Vegeta go to check on Yamoshi, but he's already transformed into Super Saiyan God and healing his wound. He reassures the others, saying that he'll be fine shortly, though there's no cure for his pride. It's indeed pathetic for the one who proclaims himself a god of the Saiyans to suffer two humiliating defeats in the same day. But Goku comforts Yamoshi, saying that Broly is a complicated case, and he and Vegeta also suffered a lot because of him in their reality, although this Broly seems to be much worse than the one they know. After recovering from Vegeta's attack, Broly rubs his own face, sore where the kick landed. He comments that this attack was truly strong, much stronger than the attacks Yamoshi and those two weaklings were unleashing. Vegeta smiles proudly and tells him that he's on a whole different level, so Broly better give up, or else he won't have any mercy and will destroy him utterly. Broly laughs and says it will be very interesting to see him try. Broly charges with a powerful strike. With his fist covered in a destructive green aura, Vegeta skillfully dodges and responds with a quick and precise punch to Broly's stomach, making him recoil. Before Broly can react, Vegeta fires an energy beam in his direction, hitting him squarely and creating a burst of light. The dust clears, revealing Broly emerging from the attack with a determined look. He charges again, launching a sequence of furious punches and kicks, but Vegeta evades each blow with supernatural agility and nearly imperceptible movements. He quickly counterattacks, delivering a spinning kick kick that hits Broly's chest, causing him to stagger backwards. Now that Yamoshi is healed, Goku asks him why he brought Broly to his castle and how he became the psychopath. Yamoshi finishes telling the story that King Vegeta had started before, explaining that when Broly was born, his power was so impressive that he could sense it even from his castle, so he began to keep an eye on him. Yamoshi confirms King Vegeta's story, saying that the predecessor king wanted to get rid of this child by sending him to a distant planet, but he intervened and requested to bring the boy to his castle and train him, as a Saiyan with such potential, if properly trained, could even surpass him, perhaps aid in the battle against Beerus when the destroyer returned. The Saiyan god brought Broly and his father, to the castle. His intention was to train the boy and teach him to control his power, while his father educated him as a father should. Yamoshi explains that for a few years, things seemed to be going well, and Broly appeared to be a sweet, calm child, albeit very quiet, but at some point in adolescence, he simply went mad and revealed his sadistic and terrible side. Yamoshi recounts that Broly brutally eliminated his own father, and then attacked him, but he managed to immobilize and control him, and after that, he needed to imprison him. Broly gathers his power and releases a powerful green energy beam from his hands. Vegeta counters the attack with just one of his hands, as if it's extremely easy for him. Vegeta launches himself towards Broly at high speed, causing tension in the Mad Saiyan, who fires multiple energy attacks at the God of Destruction. But Vegeta is too fast. He skillfully dodges the shots and delivers a powerful knee strike that sends Broly flying backward. Broly recovers in the air, although he remains dazed. Completely furious, he focuses his energy in his hands, creating a massive green energy spear. He hurls it towards Vegeta, who simply raises his hand and catches the energy. Then Vegeta hurls that energy back at Broly. The attack hits Broly head-on, causing an explosion that illuminates the entire battlefield. Broly emerges from the smoke with difficulty, his green aura gradually weakening as he breathes heavily. Landing near Broly, Vegeta remarks that it seems like all his bravado and ferocity are fading, so it's time to finish this fight. Vegeta advances against Broly, prepared for the final attack, but with an extreme mixture of fear and rage. Broly releases a massive amount of power. This power radiates in the form of a colossal energy pillar, its height even surpassing the planet's sky and visible from space. Broly's energy is so intense that it pushes Vegeta away while obliterating the entire surrounding environment. Kakarot and King Vegeta are utterly shocked by the immense amount of power Broly just unleashed, especially considering that mere seconds ago he appeared exhausted and almost defeated. But Yamoshi isn't as surprised and explains that as far as he knows, Broly's power potential is infinite. In other words, Broly won't stop evolving as long as there's something for him to kill or destroy. The legendary Super Saiyan now emits an even more intense aura of energy as he stares at Vegeta with a sarcastic smile and asks if he looks fierce again. Despite the incredible power emanating from his opponent, Vegeta smiles and says it would be disappointing if Broly were defeated so quickly. Broly says he'll make Vegeta regret thinking that way, and charges at him with astonishing speed. As Broly charges with impressive speed and his power in a frenzied state, Vegeta remains calm and focused. He sidesteps Broly's initial attack, which whizzes through the air, creating a gust that extends far beyond Vegeta. The God of Destruction seizes the opportunity and spins in the air, striking Broly with a powerful sideways kick that pushes him aside. But he quickly recovers by launching a punch toward Vegeta, who narrowly avoids it and counters with an upward kick to Broly's chin. Despite being dazed, the legendary Saiyan retaliates with a series of furious strikes. But despite the tremendous power behind the blows, Vegeta handles them like a master, dealing with an amateur's punches. After numerous dodges, Vegeta counterattacks with a sequence of rapid and precise punches that strike Broly's body by forcing him to stagger back dazed. Broly reacts in a furious motion, clapping his hands together forcefully, unleashing a shockwave that sends Vegeta flying backward. Seizing the split second in which the enemy recoils, Broly lunges with a powerful punch, but Vegeta blocks it with his palm, absorbing the impact's force. After halting Broly's punch, Vegeta grabs his hand and, taking advantage of the proximity, extends his other hand towards the larger man and fires a point-blank energy wave that sears Broly, leaving him even more dazed. But Broly still doesn't yield and tries to counterattack Vegeta with a strike, yet the God of Destruction from another reality sidesteps, and while hovering and pointing his hands towards the grounded adversary, unleashes a barrage of energy attacks that surround Broly from all sides, triggering a series of explosions. The impact and sounds of the seemingly endless explosions drive Broly mad, causing him to release his power in a way that generates a massive impact explosion, dispersing Vegeta's attacks in a whirlwind of force. Goku, Yamoshi, Kakarot, and King Vegeta watch the battle intently, noticing that the more the fight progresses, the more powerful Broly is becoming. Yamoshi criticizes Vegeta's decision in this fight and tells Goku that if Vegeta can end the battle, he should do so now while his power is still superior to Broly's. He also criticizes Goku, saying that he should go help Vegeta to finish this quickly. But Goku reassures him, saying that even though Broly is evolving rapidly, he is still far behind Vegeta. This is because Vegeta, like him, is at a level that goes beyond Broly's or anyone else's comprehension. Goku says that Vegeta's level goes far beyond mere brute power. Vegeta has attained a higher understanding of himself and the meaning of power. He has achieved the Shinken. The three Saiyans are curious about this word and ask what this thing is called, the Shinken. But before Goku could explain, he senses a power attack coming toward them and instantly teleports himself and the others away, allowing the attack to hit only the ground and destroy the surroundings. Shortly afterward, they reappear in another nearby location, and Goku comments that Broly seems to be resorting to increasingly desperate attacks. Broly extends his hands towards Vegeta, intending to unleash a powerful energy attack, but Vegeta prevents it by moving toward him at a speed he didn't expect, and then grabs his fist, swiftly twirls and slams Broly onto the ground with astonishing force. Before Broly can recover, Vegeta appears above him and descends with a devastating kick, burying him even deeper into the ground. For a moment, the two disappear from everyone's view within the planet's surface, and all that can be seen or felt of their battle are the intense tremors generated with each impact, tremors which are accompanied by Broly's loud groans, indicating he's the one receiving those blows. A few seconds later, they reappear with Broly forcefully pulled from beneath the surface and propelled towards the sky, undoubtedly due to a powerful attack from Vegeta. After ascending for many meters due to the force of the impact, Broly finally halts, vomiting a significant amount of blood and displaying great pain and fatigue. Soon after, Vegeta emerges from the ground as well, floating calmly and then landing. Broly is utterly frustrated and asks how the hell he can be so strong. Vegeta merely replies that no matter how much Broly evolves, he won't defeat him because for Broly, it all comes down to raw power, and that alone isn't enough to overcome someone who has attained mastery and superior knowledge of power. For Broly, none of those words make sense, and in fact only serve to enrage him further. The legendary Super Saiyan becomes consumed with fury and creates a massive energy sphere, hurling it towards Vegeta, intending to destroy both him and the entire universe in a suicidal attack. Despite seeing the universe-destroying attack hurling towards him, Vegeta remains calm, very calm. Vegeta waits for the attack's arrival, and then when Broly's power is close enough, he extends just one hand and grabs it and shouts, Hakai. And in the next moment, the massive destructive energy mass simply vanishes. This shocks everyone, especially Broly, who never imagined that attack could be repelled. Yamoshi, King Vegeta, and Kakarot are in complete shock, while the old Goku beside them is not surprised in the least. Curiously, Goku asks Yamoshi why he kept Broly imprisoned all this time instead of simply killing him. After all, living in prison must have been as good as death, or worse for Broly, yet keeping him alive posed a risk to the planet and the Saiyan people. Yamoshi explains that at first he thought about it, but he considered that even though Broly might be a danger, his power could be useful if the God of Destruction never returned. He explains that his idea was to face Beerus with his own power when he arrived. However, since he didn't witness the full extent of the Destroyer's power the first time they fought, he couldn't know the Hakaishin's maximum capacity, leaving him uncertain about whether he could win or not. Because of that, Yamoshi decided to keep Broly as a hidden card. If when Beerus returned, he could defeat him, he could unleash this beast against the Hakaishin. But suddenly a voice emerges behind them, saying hello. A voice that when Yamoshi hears it, makes his bones vibrate and his heart stop for a moment. It's Beerus the Destroyer, who is accompanied by the angel Whis. Once his presence is noticed, Beerus greets the god of the Saiyans, whose face hasn't changed much after 1,000 years according to him. Yamoshi is utterly shocked to see that being before him again. Understanding who that person is, King Vegeta and Kakarot become terrified. Goku isn't as surprised since, according to him, he has already sensed Beerus' presence some time ago, even before he arrived on the planet. Someone else who noticed Beerus' presence before was Vegeta, who ignores Broly while looking at the Hakaishin, who has just arrived and says he was waiting for him. Only now does Broly notice those who have just arrived and asks who they are. After revealing his presence, Beerus, who overheard Yamoshi's conversation with Goku, King Vegeta, and Kakarot, says he didn't expect the proud god of the Saiyans to resort to such a low tactic as imprisoning a madman to fight in his place. But he says it was at least a good plan since the Saiyans' potential is truly incredible and could become a danger to him if he learned to control his powers. However, Beerus asserts that in his current state, Broly can't defeat him, and if he tried, he would be obliterated like trash. Broly hears these words and becomes utterly furious. He tells Vegeta he'll kill him later, and then charges furiously at Beerus, emitting a significant amount of energy and forcing his power into one of his fists. But when the punch comes, Beerus stops it with just one hand, completely surprising Broly. Afterward, he points his other hand at the Saiyan and says that people like him need to be swiftly eliminated before they become a bigger problem. Beerus says, "Hakai," and then Broly begins to disappear, in less than a second, becoming nothing more than dust. Yamoshi, Kakarot, and King Vegeta are utterly shocked, desperate to see the ease with which their enemy dealt with a man who until then had been far beyond their limits. Goku complains to Beerus saying he didn't need to destroy Broly, but God Vegeta, while moving to his side, says that unfortunately that was the only way to deal with that monster, and he states he would have done the same at the end of the fight. But he changes the subject, stopping talking about Broly and starting to talk about Beerus. He says that their suspicions were correct, and that the Beerus of this world truly seems to be stronger than the version in their world, since their world's Beerus probably wouldn't have defeated Broly with such ease and calmness, especially a version that seems to be even more powerful than the one they know. Goku agrees, but instead of worrying him, it only makes him more excited. Despite his fear, Yamoshi tells the destroyer that he is prepared to fight if he wants, but Beerus says that Yamoshi doesn't interest him, and that today he is there for these two visitors. Vegeta says he was looking forward to continuing their fight, but unfortunately was interrupted. But Goku says that this time he will face Beerus, as Vegeta has just faced Broly, so it's his turn. Moreover, in their world, he was the first to face Beerus, and ever since that time he has felt that they have unfinished business. Vegeta sighs a little disappointed, but he can't help but agree with Goku, so he tells him to do as he pleases. Beerus asks if they have made up their minds. The response comes from Goku, who, while staring at the God of Destruction seriously, says that he will be his opponent, and that today will be the day he finally defeats Beerus in battle. Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, caused a great commotion when he broke free, but was ridiculously defeated by Beerus, who according to Goku and Vegeta is even stronger in their reality. Now Goku is going to face the God of Destruction who defeated him in the past, vowing that this time he will finally defeat him. Will Goku, after all these decades since their first fight, be able to defeat Beerus? And why is the Beerus of this reality more powerful than the version they know? Find out in the upcoming episodes of Dragon Ball Shinken.